In late summer of 2022, the Granger family moved into 1028 Hemlock Drive, a two-story colonial home nestled between pine trees in the quiet suburb of Willamette Ridge. The property had sat vacant for 8 years. The locals called it cursed. They whispered about noises, whistling specifically, and warned against staying past dark. But the Grangers, especially 16-year-old Cassie, were excited for a fresh start after her father's job relocation. She loved the home's charm, the crooked staircase, the antique knobs, the skylight in her room. 2 nights and everything changed. Cassie's mother woke up at 2:30 a.m. and found her daughter's bedroom empty. The window was locked from the inside. No broken glass. No signs of struggle, except for the single puddle of blood soaking into the hallway carpet, still warm. That night, 2 neighbors reported hearing whistling. One said it was the lullaby, "You Are My Sunshine." The other said it was coming from inside their walls. Weeks passed. Grief was thick in the home, but strange things continued. Cassie's younger brother, 8-year-old Ben, began waking in the middle of the night, whispering back to the air. He told his mom, "Cassie talks to me through the walls. She says don't trust the man who hums." His parents dismissed it as trauma, until the mother herself heard it, clear as day. A faint female voice behind the drywall whispering, "You saw him. He's still here." They hired a contractor to inspect the structure. What they found behind the walls shocked everyone. Narrow crawl spaces behind each bedroom. Soundproofed insulation. A thin stairwell that led to the attic. In that attic they found a small shrine. Burnt-down candles. A melted plastic wig. A doll missing its eyes. And Cassie's missing cell phone, powered off but intact. When forensics recovered the data, they found a single corrupted video file. The screen was black, but the audio played something bone-chilling. Soft breathing, then whistling, then screaming. Investigators dug into the house's past and found it was previously owned by Thomas Kilroy, a retired firefighter who suffered a psychological break in 2005. He was institutionalized after telling authorities he had collected children's voices in the vents. But the strangest part? Kilroy's death certificate existed, but no body was ever processed. No coroner signed off. No obituary was published. Worse, 5 other homes in the region, all previously serviced by Kilroy as a fire marshal, had histories of missing persons. The cases stretched from 1998 to 2017. Victims were mostly young girls. Each home had one chilling thing in common. Neighbors reported hearing whistling late at night, followed by silence. In mid-autumn, landscapers replanting the garden at 1028 Hemlock unearthed something buried under less than a foot of fresh soil. Cassie's blood-stained necklace. Forensics analyzed the trace prints and discovered a fingerprint. It was a perfect match for Thomas Kilroy. But here's the twist. The fingerprint was degraded, as if it had come from decaying skin, like one from a corpse. This raised an impossible question. Had Thomas Kilroy returned from the dead? Or had someone kept his body preserved enough to leave a print? That same week, 3 neighbors claimed they saw someone standing across the street at 2:14 a.m. A tall man in soot-covered clothes, softly whistling. That winter, a 23-year-old woman named Shayla Vance came forward after watching a local news segment on the case. She said she recognized the whistle. Shayla had been abducted in 2015 while hitchhiking through northern Oregon. She was held for 6 months in a dark, silent basement just off exit 17. The man who kept her wore a melted firefighter helmet and only spoke in whispers. He called himself the fireman. Shayla was kept in a soundproof room. Every time he entered, he would whistle first, the same lullaby. She escaped through a sewage pipe, but was unable to lead police back to the house. Now, with new evidence, she remembered one thing clearly. There were stairs, and the wallpaper on the ceiling above the stairs had tiny sunflowers. Investigators returned to 1028 Hemlock. Behind a boarded-up closet was a staircase to a sealed sub-basement. On the ceiling, sunflower wallpaper. Desperate for truth, the Grangers agreed to allow documentary filmmakers to install hidden surveillance throughout the house. Cameras were synced and monitored remotely. At exactly 2:14 a.m., something strange happened. The footage glitched for 11 seconds, then resumed, but one camera caught it. A figure emerged from the attic, barefoot, covered in ash, face obscured. He crept down the hallway and crouched near Ben's room, placed a hand on the wall, then whispered, "She still sings." He turned to face the camera, and for just one frame, the face was visible. Thomas Kilroy, but much older and horribly burned. Then the camera short-circuited. By sunrise, the Granger family was gone. The house empty. No signs of struggle. No signs of forced entry. Just one thing left behind on the front porch. A melted matchbox, and a cassette tape still hissing white noise. In the final seconds of the recording, just before it fades, one last sound plays. Faint whistle. "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine." To this day, 1028 Hemlock Drive remains vacant. No one has dared move in. But locals say if you stand beneath the attic window on a foggy night, you can hear that whistle. Sometimes gentle, sometimes panicked, sometimes answered. And if you stay long enough, you might hear something else. Breathing from inside the walls.